Dear students, good morning. In today's class, we are going to discuss periodicity in valence and periodicity in chemical properties. So, we have already completed 4 important physical properties: atomic radius, ionization potential, electron affinity, and electronegativity. So, variation of these physical properties in modern periodic table is completed. Next, we move into valence. So this is not a new concept to you. You already studied in your lower classes. Valence or valency of an element. So the definition of valence is the combining capacity of an element. So let me take a hydrogen as the standard one. The element sodium combines with only one hydrogen and it forms sodium hydride compound. And when you take calcium, calcium combines with 2 hydrogen atoms to form calcium hydride. And you can take oxygen. Oxygen is combining with 2 hydrogen atoms to form water. So from these formation of compounds, we can identify the valence of the element. Sodium is combining with only one hydrogen, so its combining capacity is 1. So valence of sodium is 1. Combining capacity of calcium with hydrogen is 2. So valence of calcium is 2. And think about water. Combining capacity of oxygen is 2 with hydrogen, so its valency is 2. So valence of an element is nothing but its combining capacity with hydrogen. And we can express oxidation state also. When you take elements in neutral form, the overall charge will be 0, isn't it? So neutral sodium has 11 protons and 11 electrons, 11 positively charged protons and 11 negatively charged electrons. Overall charge is 0. To attain the stability, sodium loses an electron easily, so it forms a sodium cation. Now we can say this as what? Oxidation state of sodium, 1 plus. Neutral calcium having 20 protons, 20 electrons. To attain the stability, like argon, it loses 2 electrons, so it becomes a calcium cation. Now what is the oxidation state? 2 plus. The same way for chlorine also. Chlorine gains an electron to become like argon. So this is chloride anion with oxidation state -1. Oxygen is unstable. It gains 2 electrons to become like neon. So oxidation status 2-. So for an element, you can express valence or valency. And for neutral one, oxidation state or valence, oxidation state means charge will be 0. For cation as well as anion, we may write oxidation state. Okay, how can we calculate the valence for an element? How to calculate valence? We know the atomic number of lithium is 3. It has 3 protons and 3 electrons. Valence of an element is calculated with the help of valence electrons. What is valence electron? Number of electrons present in the outermost cell. The last cell in lithium is second cell. Number of electrons present in this valence cell or outermost cell is 1. So valence of lithium is 1. We take beryllium with atomic number 4. Electronic configuration 1s2 valence cell is the second cell. Last cell is second cell. So number of valence electrons 2, so that valence 2. Take boron 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. In the valence shell, 3 electrons present. Number of valence electrons 3. So valence 3. Carbon, totally 4 electrons present in the valence shell. So valence of carbon is 4. Consider nitrogen, totally 5 electrons present in the valence shell. So its valence is 5 and one more valence is available for this nitrogen. 8 minus 5 is equal to 3. So we can say nitrogen is exhibiting 2 valences, 5 as well as 3. So when you find the number of valence electrons, up to valence electron 4, you take it as valence. If the valence electron is above 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 means the element will exhibit valence 5 as well as 8 minus 5. So 2 valences will be exhibited by nitrogen, 3 and 5. So this is the method of finding the valence. What is the variation of valence in modern periodic table? So you can take any one group. Variation of valence in a group, you can take alkali metals, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. You can. What is the general outer electronic configuration? NS1. The outermost orbital, s orbital, will have only one electron. When you take lithium, the outermost orbital is 2s orbital with 1 electron. Sodium, outermost orbital 3s with 1 electron. So when you take alkali metals, number of valence electrons 1. When you take all the elements present in a group, number of valence electrons will be same. So general outer electronic configuration of alkali metal is NS1. Just a period number or principal quantum number will be changed. Remaining, only 1 electron will be present in the outermost s orbital. So what is the valence of all the elements? Valence is 1. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium will have the same valence 1. Its combining capacity is 1. Lithium combines with only 1 hydrogen. Sodium combines with only 1 hydrogen. So due to similar outer electronic configuration or a similar number of valence electrons, all the elements will have the similar valence and the properties. So you cannot observe the variation in the valence or number of valence electrons. In group, all the elements will have the same valence. In book, one more example is given. Along with alkali metals, they have given group number 15 also. Nitrogen family, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. So when you take group number 15, number of valence electron 5. So general outer electronic configuration is NS2, NP3. When you take nitrogen, outermost cell, second cell, so 2s to 2p3. Phosphorus, 3s to 3p3, like that. So totally 5 electrons will be present in the outermost cell in group number 15. So all the elements will have 5 valence electrons. So it exhibits 2 type of valences, either 5 or 8 minus 5, 3. So variable valence or variable oxidation state is possible for elements in group number 15. Now we move into the periods. What is the variation of valence in periods? To consider second period elements: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Number of valence electrons, outermost cell. For all the elements, outermost cell, second cell, how much electrons present? In the outermost cell, lithium has 1 electron, beryllium 2, boron 3, carbon 4, nitrogen 5, oxygen 6, fluorine 7, neon 8. So this is number of valence electron. And what is valence of the element? Up to 4 we take it as such. Valence electron 1, valence also 1. Number of valence electron 2, valency also 2. Number of valence electron 3, valency 3. Number of valence electron 4, valency 4. Number of valence electrons 5. So valency 5 or 8 minus 5, 3. Here 6 or 8 minus 6, 2. 7 or 1, 8 or 0. So in some compounds, valency of nitrogen will be 5 or 3. So both valences will be exhibited by the elements nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and mostly neon will not involve in the reactions. It is a noble gas, stable in nature. So in periods, left to right, valence increases. Number of valence electron increases, so that valence is also changed. Next, anomalous properties of second period elements. So when you take second period elements like lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, the properties are different from the other members. So anomalous nature of second period element is due to smaller size. When you take first group elements, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, all are alkali metals. Sodium, potassium will form ionic compound, but lithium forms covalent compound. When you take alkaline earth metals like magnesium, calcium, they are forming ionic compounds, but beryllium forms covalent compounds. So different properties have observed for second period elements. So they are called anomalous properties. This is mainly due to smaller size. So the second period elements will have the orbitals 2s and 2p. Electrons are filled in the 2s, 2p orbitals. The size is very smaller, compact structure. So they don't have d orbitals, right? So absence of d orbital, smaller size, high ionization energy, electron affinity. So these are all the reasons for anomalous nature of second period elements. Then what is diagonal relationship? So consider second period and third period elements. Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, like. Third period elements, sodium, magnesium, then aluminum, silicon. So you can take second and third period elements. We know that elements in a group will have similar properties. Lithium and sodium are alkali metals, properties will be same. Beryllium and magnesium are alkaline earth metals, properties will be same. We know that. When second and third period elements are considered, the diagonally placed elements will have the same properties. So diagonally placed second and third period elements will have the same properties. It is called a diagonal relationship. Chemical properties of lithium and magnesium will be similar in some cases. The same way. Chemical properties of beryllium and aluminum will be similar in some cases. The same way, boron and silicon will have similar chemical properties in some cases. So diagonally placed second and third period elements will have the similar properties. It is called a diagonal relationship. Then periodicity in chemical properties. We know that except noble gases, remaining elements are unstable. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. These are stable noble gases, so they won't involve in the reactions. Except noble gases, remaining elements are unstable, so they are involving in chemical reactions. Either they can share the electrons or transfer of electron. So any one is possible to attain the stability. When we consider modern periodic table, which is more reactive element. So consider first group elements: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. The elements present in the extreme left side of modern periodic table are highly reactive towards the formation of ionic compound. The alkali metals will have the tendency of losing the electron. When you take sodium, it loses an electron easily. Potassium loses an electron easily. So sodium has to attain the electronic configuration of neon. Potassium has to attain the electronic configuration of argon. For that, electrons can be easily lost in the alkali metals. So they are highly reactive, and these metals are called electropositive metals. And electropositive character increases from top to bottom. Top to bottom, ionization potential decreases. So electropositivity will be increased from top to bottom. So generally, the element present in the extreme left side lower part of modern periodic table will have more reactivity. Okay, this is one part. Electropositivity will be more for element which is present in the extreme left lower part of modern periodic table. Then consider 17th group elements. They are also highly reactive. Comparing the middle elements, elements present in the extreme left and right will be more reactive. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, these are all highly electronegative in nature. So each halogen needs an electron to become like a noble gas. Fluorine has to attain the electronic configuration of neon. Chlorine gains an electron to attain the electronic configuration of argon. So electron accepting tendency, electron gaining tendency will be more for the halogens. So they are highly electronegative in nature. And we know that electronegativity value will be more for fluorine. According to Pauling scale, its value is 4. So when you consider elements present in the extreme right side, they are reactive in nature, highly reactive in nature, especially fluorine. So element which is present in the extreme right top of the group in modern periodic table will be highly reactive. So this is about reactivity of elements in modern periodic table. We can consider a metal as well as a non-metal, how it forms an oxide. We take an electropositive sodium metal and electronegative chlorine non-metal. So both the elements will combine with the oxygen. It forms oxides. But nature of oxide will be different. When you take sodium with oxygen, it forms sodium oxide. When you take chlorine with oxygen, it forms chlorine oxide, chlorine heptoxide. Okay, 7 oxygen atoms, so chlorine heptoxide. So both the elements are forming the oxides, but nature of oxide is different. In lower classes we studied metallic oxides. Metal combines with the oxygen to form an oxide. So metallic oxides are always basic in nature. Non-metallic oxides are usually acidic in nature. So we can prove it. Take the basic sodium oxide, which is treated with water, we get a basic substance. Sodium hydroxide is formed. Right. So the metallic oxide is basic in nature, so that it forms basic hydroxide and take chlorine heptoxide. It is usually an acidic oxide. When it is added with water, it forms an acid, perchloric acid. HClO4, perchloric acid forms. Then basic nature of hydroxides in a group. You take second group, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, all will form hydroxides. So top to bottom in a group, ionization potential decreases. That means basic nature has to increase. Okay, size increases. Comparing beryllium, magnesium is larger in size. Comparing this, calcium is larger in size. So basic nature of hydroxide will increase from top to bottom in group number 2. When you take beryllium hydroxide, this is amphoteric in nature. Magnesium hydroxide, the calcium hydroxide, they are weak bases. Comparing magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide will have more basicity. And comparing this will be stronger base. And highly stronger in basicity is barium hydroxide. So this is strongly basic in nature. So basic nature of hydroxide increases from top to bottom due to the decrease of ionization energy. And as I told, beryllium hydroxide is amphoteric in nature. It can combine with both acid as well as base. So when it combines with acid and base, it gives salt in water. Beryllium hydroxide combines with acid hydrochloric acid. It gives salt, beryllium chloride with water. When the amphoteric substance beryllium hydroxide is combining with base sodium hydroxide, it gives a salt, sodium berylliate. So with this, periodic classification of elements lesson over. Tomorrow onwards we will start next lesson, hydrogen. Thank you.